My name's Dan Meredith. I've been in the fitness industry on and off for about 12 years now. I've worked as a personal trainer, fitness consultant, speaker in the fitness industry, and I'm now working with JTX Fitness as a fitness consultant. JTX Fitness is a fitness brand. We predominantly sell vibration plates, oscillation plates, as well as other fitness equipment such as treadmills and cross trainers. We're able to be very competitive on price, unlike some of our competitors, due to the fact we don't pass on anything to middlemen or to other shops. We sell directly to the consumer. In a nutshell, vibration plates are a simple way of increasing the intensity and the workload of your training that you do and exercise by vibration. So the human body accepts vibrations at between sort of 30 and 50 hertz. So it basically allows your muscles to contract that many times a second whilst you're stood on the plate. So if you're doing a press-up position or a squat position, for example, it makes that contraction happen 50 times a second as opposed to just once when you do the actual exercise. The technology originally came from the space program in the Soviet Union, I believe. It was designed by a scientist in Russia to help their cosmonauts lose less muscle mass and bone density when they're in space, and they found that it actually worked as they planned, and the Russian cosmonauts were able to stay in space much longer than the American ones. So it's adapted from space age technology, for want of a better word. It's obviously very easy to have in a small area of space, and you can get pretty much every bit of exercise done. The main things are, it obviously improves the intensity of the workout, so you can get more done in less time, which is one of the key factors of it. You can do sort of short 15 to 30 minute sessions as opposed to hour and a half sessions. It increases bone density, it improves circulation, it helps to reduce body fat. There's been quite a few studies that have shown that it can reduce abdominal fat in trained people and in untrained people, and it's also good for rehab and injuries and massage as well. So I find that keep your arms nice and straight, head neutral. If you do struggle, you can go onto your knees, okay? It can be as difficult as you make it. So the machines are set so that you can have different frequencies, so you can make it from basically easy to hard, different intensities of the amplitude that it actually vibrates at, so you can change it depending on your goal. So it can be relatively easy if you're a newcomer. You can make it very hard if you're an athletic person. So it's really down to the individual. I mean, there are gyms around the country that do have them in various studios, but the main benefit of a vibration plate is the fact that you can have it in your own home. So a lot of people, a lot of my clients when I was a personal trainer didn't like necessarily being in a gym environment with other people around. You can have one of these in your home, put it in the corner near a plug. It's as simple as that. So you've got no real excuse not to train, which is the only downside, I'd say. Breathe out, so flatten your tummy, so breathe out and crunch. Excellent. And one more, please. Good stuff. As a personal trainer, when they first came out, I was a little sceptical of them. However, the large body of research that there is out there showing that they do work, I started to integrate them into my clients' routines and did see beneficial results. But it's like anything. If you rely on one modality for too long, your body will adapt. So I advise people to mix in using vibration training, resistance training, cardiovascular training, as well as a good diet, healthy nutrition, so on and so forth, to get the best results. Sadly, there's no one thing that will give you the miracle body. It's a combination of effects, but the vibration technology can go a long way to helping you get to where you need to be. A lot of the big issues that I've come across in my fitness experience is that people are either really happy to do a diet, they'll spend ages planning it and following it and sticking it to the letter, or they will train 5-6 times a week, but they won't often put the two together. So trying to get someone to improve their eating and exercise at the same time is probably the hardest thing, is getting those two together, because they work best when they're done together. You will lose weight on a diet, you will lose weight just training. However, you put the two together, they work far, far more effectively, I've found over the years. I've found that if you just try and change one thing a month, so for example, like adding in breakfast or putting in an extra session at the gym, is far more easy to stick to than suddenly changing lifestyle, eating habits, training habits, sleeping habits, all in one go. It's all very well having those good intentions, but actually sticking to them, most people do fall by the wayside after a few weeks. So the best tip I'd say is make a list of goals, plan it over 6 months, and try and just change one of those goals each month. So as you slowly integrate it into your life, it's less of a shock to the system, and before you know it, those habits have been formed, and you stick with them. Okay, 5 top tips I would advise anyone to integrate into their training. Sounds like an unusual one, but it's one that most people miss. Try and get breakfast every day. There's been loads of studies saying that those people who have breakfast every day, are generally leaner, healthier, and have less fat on them. So it's a really simple tip. Put 5 minutes aside for yourself in the morning. No matter how you do it, get out of bed 5 minutes earlier if you have to. Get it ready the night before. Have some breakfast. That's one of the sort of first top tips I'll always get people doing when they're starting any sort of training plan. Secondly, a really good thing you can do is switch out sort of fizzy drinks and high caffeinated beverages for water, fruit teas, so on and so forth, and have snacks available to hand. So when you get that energy lull and you do feel that, having things like fresh fruit, nuts on hand. I always tell my clients, if possible, to have a little box of fruits and nuts that they like in their desk at work, in their car. If you're feeling like you're going to be hungry, you're going to grab a chocolate bar, grab a handful of that, have yourself a glass of water, and you'll be amazed 20 minutes later you feel full. So it's a really simple way of kind of avoiding some of the badder snacks. Try and seek out the advice of an exercise professional. There are a lot of good trainers out there. There are a lot of good gyms. There's a lot of good information on the internet. So, do your research, find someone who can help you, or find a company that can assist you with your goals, and speak to them. They love talking about fitness. They're often very passionate about it, very into it themselves. They've often trained an awful many years themselves. So, seek someone out who knows what they're talking about and get them to put you on the right path. Another key area that I advise people to do is not just to stick to one thing. So combine resistance training and cardiovascular training. You find a lot of people who are really set in their ways and they like doing a certain type of exercise. You find a lot of big guys who only just want to do weights, a lot of ladies who, for example, want to do just classes in cardio. But mixing those two together, you'll be amazed at the benefit results. So don't be afraid to put in resistance training, vibration training, core work, posture work, cardiovascular classes. So having a nice mix will make you an better rounded, healthy person. And finally, the key thing I could say to people is just try and eat as healthily as possible. I know that sounds really patronising. It sounds so easy just to say it when I'm sat here. But, consume lean proteins, good quality vegetables, lean pulses and rices, and, consume as much water as you feel comfortable throughout the day will go a long way to helping you have a happier, healthier, fitter life. Try and avoid processed food as much as possible. If it comes in a packet, if it's coloured funnily, if it's fizzy, generally as a rule it's not natural. So if you can limit the intake of those foods, I'm not saying don't have them, but just kind of slowly start to limit them in your diet and increase more of the healthy foods, you'll be amazed at the effects on your body.